I smoked for 40 years. Had my first cigarette when I was about 8 years old. Around about 53, I saw a newspaper article on vaping. Then just about a couple of weeks research on it and started that way.
Paul McNamara kicked his 4 decades-long smoking habit and turned his newfound hobby into a business.
So I need some more juice, please, and I also think I need some more coils for that one, the GT coil.
Sure.
So here's the thing about vaping. There's a couple of words that need some definition, like juice. That's the liquid flavour that goes into the device. There's a pod which holds the liquid, and then there's the coil. That's what heats the liquid to form the vapour.
So I've used the Vaporesso ones before, but these are the same, aren't they?
Yeah. These are very simple ones. You've got a battery and a pod. And all you have to do here is fill up your pod, then put it back in your battery, and then off you go.
E-cigs are reusable, and most of them can be charged by USB.
The battery will heat the coil, the juice will vaporise, and you inhale the vaporised juice. But the more heat you get from the vapour, the more warmth you get, generally, the more flavour you get out of the vape.
And from this novice in all things that have to be inhaled, flavour appears to be what this is all about. There's over 8,000 varieties.
Fuji apple strawberry nectarine, blood orange banana gooseberry, strawberry guava jackfruit, coffee and donut, cookie batter, and you've got your tobacco flavours, and there's another watermelon pineapple menthol. So we've got jackfruit.
I smoked for maybe a few years in my 20s and gave up smoking and didn't touch cigarettes for years.
40-year-old Ryan was lured by the notion of vaping being a cool thing to do.
When I first started vaping, it was a very, very simple device. You put liquid in it, you powered it on, and you said, now I got to the point where, you know, it's almost like building your own lightsaber. You have different mods, you've got different tanks and new coils and coils that get more flavour into the vapor. So, it's something that I kind of tech out and geek out about.
So I smoked for 12 years and then I was desperate to give up because I felt like I was dying. And then I got into vaping and now I've been vaping for over 3 years.
As a seasoned cigarette smoker, 31-year-old Jade had tried many ways to kick the habit.
Other means of quitting, patches and things like that, you're not getting that the same experience with your hand-to-mouth kind of movements, and I think it's probably the most effective way for people to quit smoking.
As a smoker, if you're smoking 20 a day, serious, high milligram cigarettes, you can start off with a higher milligram nicotine in your vape and slowly wean yourself off it. You can get to the point where you're just blowing out the smoke with nothing if you want to.
Across the country, our laws are still catching up with the technology.
When I first started vaping, it was in that grey area. They didn't know what it was. So you could still, by law, you could still vape inside if you wanted to. In nightclubs a few years ago, you'd see people sucking on the vape pens and stuff, and the bouncers would rush over and you can't smoke in here, and then they'd have that 10-minute long argument, well, it's vaping, it's not smoking, and it's easier just to go outside.
Nowadays, when and where you can light up changes from state to state. Most commonly, the rules for smokers extend to e-cigarettes.
The one thing is that you have to vape where you smoke. So it's slightly unfair for a vapor who's trying to give up cigarettes or has given up cigarettes being forced into a section where you're forced to inhale cigarette smoke when you're trying to get away from it. So that's one massive flaw kind of in the legal system at the moment, I think.
Once you vape it out, it pretty much dissipates into the air. It's essentially water vapour. So, often you're right. You get shunted in with the other smokers, which can be difficult.
So, is it harmful? Well, when it comes to evidence, vaping just hasn't existed long enough for researchers to measure the long-term health effects.
I know the jury's still out on the health benefits of it and whether it's better than smoking or if it's not. And one study comes out and they say it is, another study comes out and contradicts that.
You can just feel the change in your body once you quit smoking and start vaping.